Today's thought is action may not always bring happiness, but there is no happiness without action. Good morning, students. Welcome back. I hope all of you are safe and fit at home, studying well, and completing your work on time. This video is for the students of class 8th, subject English. And today in this video, we are going to cover one chapter of our supplementary book, that is It So Happened. This is our chapter number 5 and the name of the chapter is Princess September. This is my lecture number 1 of the same chapter. This chapter is taken from It So Happened book. Students, we shall cover this chapter in 2 lectures. And today in this video, we are going to read about the author, objectives and detailed explanation along with word meanings of this chapter. Before start reading the chapter in detail, let me tell you about the author first. William Somerset Maugham was born on 25th January 1874 at Paris in France. He was an English playwright, novelist and short story writer. His famous short stories are The Ant and the Grasshopper, Mr. Know-All and Rain, etc. He died on 16th December 1965 at the age of 91 at Nice in France. This is all about the author. So let's see what are the objectives of this chapter. Number 1 is to make the students more nature friendly, freedom friendly, that is taking responsibilities of their own, and music friendly, that is natural friendly. Number 2 is to make the students too familiar with the stories outside the country. Number 3, to inculcate the habit of reading among the students. Number 4, to illustrate the importance and meaning of freedom and its value in the life. Number 5 is to encourage the students to think critically. Number 6, to understand the importance of freedom and how it is linked to the development of the talents. Number 7, to know the importance of music, value of freedom, beauty of nature that forms and shapes the character of a good human being. So these all are the objectives of the chapter. So now let's discuss the main key points of the chapter. Number 1. Princess September, like each one of her numerous sisters, receives the gift of a parrot in a golden cage on her father's birthday. Number 2. The parrot dies and by chance a singing bird comes in its place. Number 3. The princess shows off her pet to the sisters who advise her to put it in a cage. So these were the main points, key points of the chapter. So now let's see the introduction of the chapter. What is there in the chapter? Let's see in brief. A question arises. Do you like or love birds? If yes, then the story will be amazing and fantastic for you all. This is an interesting story that talks about the love and bond of humans and birds. Freedom is the basic right of every individual. No one should take it away for his own greed. Doing good always pays back in the manifold, means in many different ways. The princess was a good human being. Her essential goodness was reflected in her behavior with the bird. She believed in live and let live. In contrast means comparison between two person or to compare people or thing in order to show the difference between them. To her, her sisters did evil and received the evil fate in return. Evil fate means bad thing in return. So this is the introduction of the story. This chapter is divided into two parts. To know what will happen next, let's read the detailed summary or explanation of the chapter of part 1. So let's start our story to know about in detail. The king and the queen of Siam, now the Siam it is known as Thailand, had many daughters, and the queen said that it confused her to have to remember so many names. One day the king decided to call them January, February, March, till he came to the youngest, whom he called September, means king's daughters. The king and queen of Siam, means of Thailand, had many daughters. The queen found it confusing to remember so many names. So the king named them according to months, and the youngest was called September. The king of Siam had a peculiar habit, means Princess September is a story of Princess of Siam. Nowadays Siam is known as Thailand. Prince's father, the king of Siam, had a strange idea about naming his children. When he had only 2 daughters, he named them Day and Night. When 2 more were added, he named them Spring, Autumn, Winter and Summer. Then 3 more daughters were born. He named them again by the days of the week. When the 8th daughter arrived, he named them again by the months. And when the 9th daughter was born, he named the child by September. Thus, she was called the Princess September. She was the last daughter of the king of Siam, and after then the queen gave birth only baby boys. The first 8 daughters had bitter mood, as their names were changed more than once. Also the king had another habit of giving birthday present. So we can say that the king's gifts. The king had a peculiar, means strange habit. Instead of receiving gifts on birthday, he gave them. One year on his birthday, not having anything else handy, handy means immediately available, he gave each of his daughters a green parrot in a golden cage. Means instead of receiving gifts on his birthday, he used to give or he gave them gifts. One year he gifted his daughters each with a green parrot in a golden cage. Or in simple way we can say that the king had another habit of giving birthday presents. One or on one birthday he gave the present of green parrots in a beautiful golden cage to each of his daughters. The princes were very proud of their parrots, and they spent an hour every day in teaching them to talk. Presently all the parrots could say, "God save the king," and some of them could say, "Pretty Polly." Pretty Polly means it is a kind of a phrase often said to and sometimes by the parrots in no less than 7 Oriental languages. Oriental means belonging to the East or Far East. Means the princes were glad that they are having parrots. They spent an hour every day with them. The parrots could say, "God save the king and Pretty Polly." in 7 oriental languages or in 7 languages. And they used to teach them how to speak. But one day, when Princess September went to say good morning to her parrot, she found it lying dead at the bottom of its golden cage. She burst into a flood of tears, and nothing that her maids of honor could say comforted her. Means, but Princess September found one morning her parrot dead. She wept and wept. She couldn't or could not be comforted by maids of honor. Maids of honor means women attending the princess. The maids of honor, they wanted to make the princess quiet, but she was not ready to listen to anybody else. She kept on crying. She cried so much that the maids of honor, not knowing what to do, told the queen, and the queen said it was stuff and nonsense. Stuff and nonsense means useless and senseless. And the child had better go to bed without any supper. Supper means evening meal, or we can say dinner, or the last meal of the day. The maids of honor wanted to go to a party, so they put Princess September to bed as quickly as they could and left her by herself. Means the maids didn't know what to do, so they told the queen, or we can say they went to the queen. The queen told the maids to put her to sleep without supper. Supper means the last meal of the day or dinner. The maids wanted to go to a party, so they put Princess September to bed as soon as possible. Or in simple way, we can say that. But Princess September was sad because she found her parrot died or dead one day morning. However, the queen and her maids tried to console. She wasn't, or we can say try to console her, but she was not ready to listen anybody else, and crying without eating her food. And while she lay in her bed crying still, even though she felt rather hungry. Means thus the princess was left alone crying in her bed. The princess was crying and still feeling hungry. She saw a little bird hop into her room. She wiped her tears and sat up. Then the little bird began to sing. Means that night Princess September saw a little bird come into her room. After seeing her, she wiped her tears and sat up. And then it means here considered for the bird began to sing for Princess September. He sang a beautiful song all about the lake in the king's garden and the willow trees that looked at themselves in the still water and the golden fish that glided in and out of the branches that were reflected in it. Means willow trees means a tree with long thin branches that hang down and which often grows near water. Glided means to move smoothly with noise and effort. Means the reflection of the tree were visible in the water. When he had finished, means when the bird had finished his song, the princess was not crying and anymore. And she quite forgot, means the Princess September was forgot that she had no supper, means she had not eaten food. She had forgot all the sorrows. That was a very nice song said by Princess September. Means Princess September said to the little bird that you sang beautiful song. The little bird gave her a bow, means she saluted Princess September, or he saluted Princess September. Would you care to have me in place of your parrot? Now, the bird offered to Princess September that, can you please, or could you please keep me in place of your parrot? It is true that I am not so pretty to look at, but on the other hand, I have a much better voice. Princess September clapped her hands with delight. The bird said, I know I am not, means it was not looking pretty, but it sang well, means I can sing well. The Princess September was delighted and went to sleep. Means the smart little bird, it sang about King's Garden, the golden fish, the willow trees a tree with branches, etc. The princess forgot about her supper, about her dinner. The little bird gave the princess a bow, a salute. The bird asked her if she would have it in place of her parrot, means kept her in place of her parrot. The bird agreed that it would not pretty. That princess clapped her hands with delight. And then the little bird hopped means jumped onto the end of her bed, means sat at the end of her bed and sang her to sleep, means the bird delights everyone. The bird sang a song for Princess September so that she can sleep, means the bird sang and the princess went to sleep. When she awoke next day, the little bird was still there, and as she opened her eyes, he said, good morning, means the next morning the bird wished the Princess September good morning when she opened her eyes. The maids of honor brought in her breakfast and he ate rice out of her hand, and he had his bath in her saucer, means when the maids of honor brought breakfast for Princess September, the bird ate rice from Princess September's hand and took bath in her saucer. Saucer means plate, from which Princess September was eating food. He began to sing again so beautifully that the maids of honor were quite surprised, for they had never heard anything like it. The Princess September was very proud and happy, means the Princess September was feeling very proud and happy to have a great bird. Now I want to show you to my 8 sisters, said the princess. She stretched, means extended, out the first finger of her right hand so that it served as a perch, means place where a bird sits or rests, so that the bird can sit on the finger of the Princess September. And the little bird flew down and sat on it, means the little bird flew and sat on Princess September's finger, means the princess offered it food with her own hands. She bathed it in her saucer, means plate. The maids of honor were surprised. They had not heard earlier the sweet song of such a bird. The next morning, the bird was taken to her 8 sisters. She went through the palace and called on each of the princes, means the next morning the bird was taken to her 8 sisters, or we can say the princess took the bird to her 8 sisters. She went through the palace and called on each of the princes, and for each of them the little bird sang a different song, means the bird sang different songs to the princess, or we can say the birds sang different melodious song to them. As the birds sang different melodious song for the princess, by listening this, the princess were feeling very jealous instead of happy. But the parrot could only say, God save the king and pretty Polly. At last, she showed the little bird to the king and the queen. They were surprised and delighted. Delighted means happy. The king's praise means at last. The Princess September showed her bird to the king and the queen. Then the king and the queen, they both were surprised and delighted to see the bird. I knew I was right to send you to bed without any supper, without any food, said the queen. This bird sings much better than the parrots, said the king. The king said that the bird sang much better than the parrots you had. I should have thought you got quite tired of hearing people say, God save the king, said the queen. I can't think why those girls wanted to teach their parrots to say it too. The sentiment is admirable, said the king, and I never mind how often I hear it. But I do get tired of hearing those parrots saying pretty Polly. They said it in 7 different languages, said the princess. I dare means able to speak. Say they do, said the king. But I reminds me too much of my counselors. Means he also said that he did not or didn't mind to hear the birds sing. He had got tired of parrots saying pretty Polly. Again and again, the princess said that the parrots said in 7 different languages. The king said that they reminded him of his counselors. The king praised that the birds sang much better than the parrots, who reminded of his counselors speaking in 7 languages. It never means anything in any way they say it. The princes were vexed means worried at this, and the parrots looked very glum means sad indeed. But Princess September ran through all the rooms of the palace, singing like a lark means a small bird, brown bird, while the little bird flew round and round her singing like a nightingale. Means jealous princess. The 8 princes were vexed means worried at this. The parrots also looked glum means sad, but the bird flew round and round in the palace. She means here the Princess September sang like a lark, like a brown bird, and the little bird sang like a nightingale. They both were very happy. Things went on like this for several days, and then the 8 princes put their heads together. Put their heads together means discussed amongst themselves to take a decision. Means making strategy or plan. Means the other princes got jealous of Princess September, and they all were making strategies or plan to make Princess September sad. They went to September and sat down in a circle round her. My poor September, they said, we are sorry for the death of your beautiful parrot. It must be dreadful, means very sad, for you not to have a pet bird as we have. So we have all put our pocket money together and we are going to buy you a lovely green and yellow parrot. Means, so they means 8 princes went to September. They said that they were sorry for the death of her parrot. She must have a parrot. They had put their pocket money together to buy her the parrot. Or we can say that, so they went to her and told her that they would buy with their pocket money a beautiful parrot for her in place of her dead parrot. Thank you for nothing, said September. I have a pet bird which sings the most charming songs to me, and I don't know what on earth I should do with a green and yellow parrot. Well, my dear, they said, it is absurd, means illogical to talk of your bird when the little fellow, means bird, flies in and out just as he likes. They looked round the room and raised their eyebrows. Do you mind or asking where your bird is now? They said. Means they were asking from Princess September, if you don't mind, could you please tell me where is your bird now? He has gone to pay a visit to her father-in-law. Means the Princess September said now he went to his father-in-law to meet him. And what makes you think he will come back? Asked Princess. Means Princess said September that now how you are sure that she will come back? Then Princess September replied, he always does come back. Means confused September. Hearing it, September thanked them. She said that she had a pet bird. It sang the most charming, means beautiful songs to her. She didn't know what she would do with the parrot. The princess said that she was wrong in calling the bird as hers. They remarked that the bird flew in and out just as it liked. They asked her where the bird was at that time. September told them that the bird had gone to its father-in-law. To meet its father-in-law, we can say. Or we can say, but she refused and said she has a pet bird who sang melodious song for her. The bird has gone to her father-in-law. They said she cannot call that bird as hers because it can fly away at any time as it is not inside the cage. They told her safety first. The princess started worrying about her little bird. Well, my dear, said the eighth princess, if you will take our advice, you won't run any risks like that. If he comes back, and mind you, if he does, you will be lucky. Pop him into the cage and keep him there. It is the only way you can be sure of him. But I like to have him fly about the room, said the young Princess September. Safety first, said her sister ominously. Ominously means threateningly, or you can say suggesting that something bad was about to happen. They got up and walked out of the room, shaking their hands, means waving their hands, and they left September very uneasy, means in uncomfortable or in trouble. Means the princess said that it was not likely to come back. If it come back, she should pop, means put it into the cage. But Princess September replied that she liked to see it fly all around in the palace. They told her that safety first, means safety is first, so she should be the objective, or this should be the main objective. They went away. Princess September left uneasy, means they went away from the room and left Princess September uncomfortable or in trouble. So, this is the end of the story of part 1. Students, you have to complete your homework on the basis of the chapter explained by me. And your homework is read chapter 5, that is Princess September, and write word meanings highlighted in the video. Based on the understanding of the chapter, write the answers of the questions mentioned in the book It So Happened As. Page number 38, comprehension check, question number 1 to 10. Students, you have to do these question answers in your fair notebook by following the correct format. Still now, many students are not having their book with them. So here in this video, I have mentioned your homework in detail. So let's see comprehension check, which is on page number 38. Question number 1 is, how many daughters did the royal couple have? Question number 2 is, why were they named after the months of the year? Question number 3 is, the king had a peculiar habit. What was it? Why it is called peculiar? Question number 4, part 1 is, what was Princess September's reaction to the loss of her parrot? Question number 4, part 2 is, what was her mother's reaction to it? Question number 4, part 3 is, what do the reactions indicate about the nature and temperament of each? Question number 5 is, what pulled the princess out of her gloom? Question number 6 is, how did the maids of honor come to know that the princess and the bird had become intimate friends? Question number 7 is, the new bird was full of new songs, but the old parrots always repeated themselves. What did they say? Question number 8 is, what is the king's opinion about his counselors? Why did he form that opinion? Question number 9, part 1 is, the 8th princess made an offer to Princess September. What was it? Question number 9, part 2 is, why, in your view, did they do it? Question number 10 is, what did the sisters advise the princess to do about her bird? So, this is the end of the lecture. Students, if you like our videos, please hit on the like button and don't forget to subscribe our channel. Thank you and have a nice day.